Hi guys, thank you for joining me. This is Brandy Lloyd with The Path for Health, and today I'm going to talk about kind of a big deal, and that is struggling with getting started. This is something that every single client or student that I work with faces, is just, I want to get started, but I don't know how to get started. And that's where they usually end up in my classroom or across from me on a screen these days, or in my private practice. So I'm going to be giving you 5 steps, 5 easy steps that you can get started with today and start moving down your own path for health. All right, I hope you enjoy. Hello friends, welcome back to The Path for Health. And today we're actually going to talk about struggling and getting started. When I say struggling, I'm talking about that point that every woman comes to, or hopefully every woman comes to, where they just realize that changes need to be made. You're not satisfied with your health in one area or another. Maybe it's your sleep or your hormones, or you're just tired of having stomach aches, or maybe you just feel that when you go to the bathroom, you have that bowel movement that you just never really feel like you go all the way. Or maybe you've had a lifetime of gas or daily headaches, or you've just reached that point over 40 to where it seems like you have more days that you don't feel good than you have days where you feel fantastic. But there's definitely a struggle. And I used to say when I taught boxing classes that pain teaches. For an example, dropping your guard. Once you drop your guard and you get racked, it's that you will remember to keep your guard up. So struggle isn't always a bad thing. Struggle is something that can be very motivating, especially when it comes to making better choices for our health. And it's not uncommon for people to come to me after they have reached some sort of personal struggle because they went to a doctor's appointment and they said, gosh, I just literally got a warning that if I don't make some changes, that I'm not going down a good road. So that's what I want to talk to you about today, is that moment that maybe you come to that realization, whether it's sitting in your car or driving home after that appointment, or maybe you went something simple like clothing shopping. Remember when we used to be able to go to the store and buy clothes instead of ordering them? And maybe you're trying clothes on and you just don't feel like yourself anymore. And you look in the mirror and you're saying, that just isn't me. That's not me. How did this happen? When did I turn into this old lady or this fat lady? Or why am I limping? Or that space that you come to where you're realizing you take Tylenol every day or ibuprofen every day. Or maybe you realize that you can't get through the whole day. You can't get through the afternoon unless you have that snack or unless you have that cup of coffee. The energy dips. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the fact that you just can't put your brain to bed at night and it's taking you forever to go to sleep, or you're waking up every 2 to 3 hours because you have to go to the bathroom. What are you struggling with? A lot of my clients are struggling with several different things, but it's always a couple of them that really get them to start moving, that really is that motivator, that they realize that their guard has been dropped and they just got walloped, and they're only going to be able to take so many hits because, let's face it, many of us are not like Rocky Balboa who can just keep going and going and going. So whatever it is for you, when you've come to that moment of struggling and you come to that moment that you realize you need to make a change, but you just don't know what it is what I want to talk to you about today. And I'm going to give you 5 things, 5 easy steps and powerful steps that you can start implementing right away that's going to make some big impact in your life, and you're going to start seeing the change that you want. Let's talk about one of my clients. Her name is Anne. I love this woman. We have been through so much together. When Anne first came to me, she confessed that she has been on a lot of different diets And so that I don't give away too much, let's just say that Ann is over 50. Okay, she's over 50. She was a professional woman. She had a great career, and she came to me and she says, I have never in my life liked working out, and I just don't eat healthy. I don't like vegetables, and I know that I should. I'm worried. The doctor says that I am pre-diabetic, and I'm already on these medications, and I don't want to add anything to that. So we definitely had a lot to work with Ann, but I want to tell you, the very first thing that I work with clients would be their mindset. Is by the time women come to me, even though weight loss is an important factor, it's actually not number one. They're dealing with things that are bigger than the number on the scale or the size of clothes that they're wearing. The fear of becoming a diabetic was a real fear and deep, and that was what motivated her. That was the struggle, the straw that broke the camel's back, where she said, I have got to do something. So what she did was she realized that it was going to take more than just reading books and listening to podcasts, that she actually needed to invest in herself, and she needed to invest in her future so that she didn't have a life of diabetes, which puts you at risk for so many other diseases and medical procedures. And it's just not a good place to be. And so she picked up the phone, she gave me a call, we met, and she told me her story. And one of her stories is like, look, I didn't grow up eating healthy foods. I really don't like a lot of vegetables. I really like eating out. I like going out to the local Chinese food, restaurant with my husband, and he's totally not a healthy eater, and he's got all kinds of medicines that he's on, and I don't want to go down that road myself, but I know I need to do something. So we're talking about somebody who doesn't like to work out or move her body. She's just naturally just kind of like resistant in her soul to movement, kind of a thing. She's never been able to have toned muscles. And so I don't know if she, psychologically or just emotionally kind of gave up, or that's not me, but she really did like the processed foods that she was eating. It's what she was used to. She didn't like the fact that she was taking daily over-the-counter medications because of her, like Aleve, for example, because of having joint pain and hip pain. And she was having to take several prescription medications, and she had been through Hep C, years ago. And so that was really hard on her liver, and she had completely recovered from that as much as she could. But she just really wanted to live cleaner and didn't know how to do it. So there's her picture, right? At this time, she was working full time and traveling around the world, and so there were different things for us to address. The first thing I started with Ann was I got her on some supplements that would kind of help her along the way. So I do like a functional screen with her, so I can look at her digestion and just the whole picture, not only her digestion, but her elimination and how well her liver is functioning and her blood sugar. And we just really get a good picture of where she is. And I thought that the best place for us to start was to start helping her with a little bit of supplementation, because she was deficient across the board. I mean, just the woman needed so much help, and that's where supplements can come in and fill gaps. Another thing was I taught her about some healthy alternative breakfasts. I really like to work at the one meal at a time rather than just saying to somebody, you need to completely overhaul every single thing that you're doing right now, because we are, even if we know that it's good for us, we're going to come up against this natural resistance, or we just put it in a diet mentality like, sure, I can do that. I can restrict, I can sacrifice, but it's only going to be for 30 days. And then I'm going to go off, and basically do what I was doing in the past. So I don't want to run into that. So the small steps, showing her different whole food shakes that are going to get her some different nutrients into her body, and adding healthy foods, giving her permission to have foods that she had not explored before, and showing her ways that she can add them into her diet that actually taste pretty darn good. For some of the things that she was used to eating, like I'm just going to give an example, pulling her off of gluten maybe, if she liked to have maybe an afternoon cookie, showing her how she can make a healthier version of that cookie. So just little alternatives for things that she was already reaching for. Now, the personal training, she's been working with me now for, I think it's a year and a half, maybe coming up on 2 years. And we typically see each other 2 or 3 times a week. And we've been through a lot during this time. She doesn't mind me sharing that she had a lot of dental work that she had done after we had only been working together for 2 or 3 months. She was adding all kinds of healthy foods. Her breakfasts and lunches were really starting to shape up. And then she ended up having to have a lot of her teeth removed and dentures put in, more than likely due to the amount of medications over the counter and whatnot that she'd been taking that ruined her teeth and her gums. So we went through that together and had to kind of backtrack and find foods that she can eat, but we were able to do it. Her personal training was a lot of just getting her to move on a regular basis and work with balance and stability and some body weight training. And she was really starting to feel good. And then I believe it was about 6 months, 6 months into her training or less, that she decided to retire. So now we're looking at another life change of retiring and not traveling as much and just all the adjustment of that. And we just continue to take it step by step. It's not how fast you're moving is what I kind of want to leave you with today. It's just that you continue to move forward. And so through each of her stages and through each of her life changes and challenges, we would just dial in what she was the most comfortable with maintaining. It is the small, consistent steps that really matter. Your brain, your nervous system, and even your mind is used to you being in a certain place. And we're just going to call that place homeostasis. You're normal. And maybe your normal is 40 pounds overweight, or your normal is not getting enough sleep. But if your body is kind of used to you being there, then it will be a little bit more resistant to change. So the key here, or the special tip, is to not just rip off the Band-Aid and just jump into the frozen lake and go, I'm here, I'm doing it. It's actually going to be a much harder battle. You think you were struggling before, now you're really going to struggle. And we cannot have a wellness-minded person, somebody with wellness goals, and then throw them into extreme stress, your body, mind, spirit, and soul, and everybody's going different directions, right? Your body's used to being 40 pounds overweight, or your body is used to eating certain foods or having certain toxic loads, let's just say, and it's normal. We have to teach it in small, consistent steps to find other avenues, because we're going to be fueling it with better nutrients and teaching your body to balance its blood sugar, teaching your body to be able to go further without eating and maybe turn to your own stored calories like fat as a way of keeping energy up and your mental clarity. I was keto for a while. I was keto because I really needed to lower inflammation. Ann and I share a common challenge, is that she has a type of inflammatory arthritis, and so do I. And so I have worked for many years trying to discover what's going on, and kind of how to better serve my body, knowing that I have inflammatory arthritis. We did the same thing with Ann, with her hips and her knees and shoulders and back and the different issues. I looked back over her file and I'm like, wow, I can't believe all the different things that we have been through. But what we have done is we have done it very slowly and very, very methodically. And we have, in a sense, retrained her body, mind, spirit, and soul to come to a different set point in weight and blood sugar and what she craves and how she thinks and even how she feels about things. She loves to work out now. And it's really, really exciting to work with her. She doesn't mind me sharing all of this. Her story is one of paying it forward. The next challenge that we came up with was the loss of her husband. That was very shocking. It was very sudden. And it was just, waking up in the morning and he was gone. And the stress on her body, just the emotional toll and all of that, we stuck together. I just loved her through it like a friend, and she took a short amount of time off, and then she got right back in because she felt that this was something healthy that she was doing, and she wanted to continue taking those small, consistent steps. And so we did. We've been through a couple injuries with Ann. She had dropped something on her foot and broke some toes. Once again, we just make a few changes. Everybody's talking about pivoting. We just pivoted a little bit. At this point, she is eating a beautiful, clean, whole food diet with lots of fats. She's really getting strong. We're seeing muscle tone on her. Her attitude is bright. It's just this amazing turnaround. And then she ends up falling at home in the middle of the night, going to the bathroom and breaking 8 ribs on her back. Once again, we just need to pivot. She continued eating a healthy diet. We changed her supplements to support the type, she was like on lots of collagen and bone broth. We continued to stay away from sugar, and she is just healing up fine. And to the point where now, because of social distancing, we're still not training the way that we used to train, but she does come over and we do have a really great hill to walk on. And so she and I have been working together with, getting her walking, and then virtual training where she's on the bands, and she's feeling really, really great. And I want to say she's about 40 pounds down, and she just keeps it off. The reason why I tell you about Ann is because that mindset that we were dealing with is now something that she doesn't even really think about. It's not an intentional, this is what I have to do because I'm on a diet kind of a thing. She has a friend that comes over on occasion and will bring, what she's saying, like popsicles or cookies or candies or little things like that. And she was sharing with me yesterday that she said, hey, don't bring me those things. I don't want those things at my house. They're tempting for me. I don't need them. I don't want them. I don't crave them. And I've just moved on from that. And she's telling me this with just this, I'm a little pissed, kind of a thing. Like, don't bring that over here. That's not the way I live. I loved it. I loved hearing that that's her honest place that she's coming from right now, because she's done the work. She's definitely done the work. She has changed the way she thinks. She's changed the way she craves. She's changed the way she feels about food and movement and meditation and healthy living. And I got to tell you, it's my greatest joy to work with clients like Ann. Another client said something just today that I was working with just before I started recording this podcast. Is she woke up in the morning and she lives fairly close to her in-laws. And so they had come over. She figured maybe after she had went to sleep. And so she woke up in the morning and they have lots of kids in their house and everybody's home right now. She woke up to a counter full of homemade donuts. And she said, "Are you kidding?" And she goes, "I was so angry." and she told me how she handled it. She made her husband take some to work, and then she doled them out with the kids and said, "Fine, this is how many you guys can have, but I don't want any of these in there." And I asked her, I go, "Why do you think you were so angry?" She says, I don't know. I just feel like I don't want that stuff around me. And here's my opinion, and this is just my opinion, is that Melissa has done such a great job. She is 13 pounds down. We have been working together for, I believe it's been 3 months now. And she has a lifetime of also yo-yo dieting, back and forth. And we work really hard on her mindset. We work really hard on her understanding that she is not restricting foods. She grew up restricting foods and then, on the wagon, off the wagon, on the wagon, off the wagon. That this has no wagon. We're getting her to a place where she is just choosing foods that make her feel good. She has a history, a lifetime of having digestive disorders and bloating and just her stomach not feeling good. And she doesn't have that anymore. And she's not food obsessed. She's eating 3 meals a day, and that's all she needs. She doesn't need every 2 hours to be putting something in her mouth. And so this has been such a good 3 months. She's taken consistent, small baby steps. She's done the steps that I'm going to share with you today and then some. And so this is my opinion of why she felt angry and why Anne felt angry and frustrated is because this is your safe house. This is your safe place. This is your environment that for a few months, because these, Melissa's still at the beginning stages here. She's only 3 months in, and she's starting to feel more intuitive. She's starting to feel more in control, and she's starting to put 2 and 2 together when she's eating a food, even a healthy food that doesn't agree with her. She's noticing, gosh, I don't think my body likes that. Whenever I eat it, I get really tired, or I get kind of bloated, or, whatever it is. And so we've had all these great discussions about her own self-discoveries. But I got to say, when you have your safe place where you're controlling your food and your exercise and your mental health, wellness, and all of that, and then somebody just comes in and disrupts that when you're not prepared, yeah, it can definitely make you feel angry. And like she said, I don't feel like being tempted with this right now, kind of a thing. And she also shared with me how good thing it wasn't in the evening time, because if it was in the evening and not the morning, she said she might have caved. So she knows that the evening is a time where she is more vulnerable to temptations. I shared with her that I have the exact opposite feel. I'm not going to be tempted by something in the evening. More than likely, it would be in the morning time where I'm like, oh, I'm going to be doing all these great healthy things today, and I'm going to be eating like this for the rest of the day. If I do that, then I'm going to make adjustments. For example, I do much better personally on a lower carbohydrate diet. Some days I just accidentally, I don't mean to, I just eat more of keto choices or foods. Some days I might get 150 grams of carbohydrates. It's not intentional. I'm a very intuitive eater, but I also weigh what's going on in my life or for the day. I'm definitely going to allow myself to have more healthy carbs if I just had a good workout, for example, or we had a good hike up our hill or whatever. But if it's been a really low-key day and I haven't used a lot of energy, then I'm going to eat a little bit different. I'm just kind of drawn to and open to giving my body what it needs. And so are these two lovely ladies. They've come to that point of understanding what they need, how to manage how they're living. And when you poke into that without their permission, their hackles come up because they're like, that's not the way I live, or, whatever it is. So what's different? Like with Mother's Day. Well, like Melissa shared that when she was at Mother's Day and she went to a brunch, that she knew that there were going to be other things there. And she had some things, we didn't discuss exactly what that is, but it was more in the late morning. And she said she definitely didn't feel good with how she ate, but she was able to clean that up. So when they came home in the evening, she says, what I basically had was, she says, I had my protein, I had chicken, I had my vegetables. That's all I wanted. I felt like I just really needed to kind of get back on track. So this is just stages of growth. When you know you're growing, when you know how to course correct. But none of that is going to happen for you if you don't get started. And if you're listening to this, you're probably motivated to get started, or at least you're considering getting started. And that's where this all begins. So here comes the 5 things that I want you to do that will make a big difference. The first thing we all know about, but is actually one of the most difficult things to do, is to just clean out your pantry. Clean out all your pantries. Some people have snacks in their cars, their purses, their places of work, the garage, the gardening shed, just wherever you happen to store things that are not healthy, good choices for you, you need to get rid of them. Give them to a neighbor, give them to a friend, whatever, but try and get rid of them. Now, if you still have people in the house, that are eating in an unhealthy way and they don't feel like joining you on this, then maybe you need to make a cabinet that's just off limits. This is my cabinet, or this is my shelf in the fridge, or whatever. I know that is a harder way to do things, but it does work. My husband doesn't eat the way I do, although he doesn't eat the way he did or used to, 5 and 10 years ago, where he would sit down and have a couple beers and a bowl of pub mix or something like that. He so very rarely does that. But to get the temptation to stop the temptation from grabbing you around the throat and then leaving you in feelings of shame after you ate whatever it is you shouldn't eat, just get rid of it. Just do the pantry clean out. I know it's very basic, but it's just good teaching. You just gotta do it. The second thing I want you to do is really focus on the quality of your food. So if you can, buying organic is always the best choice, but just focus on the quality. That quality is not going to be found in processed foods. So when you're looking at foods, when you're looking at labels, something that I teach you when you're my student or client, or if you're in the membership, they're just getting ready to learn this, is really how to look at labels. Turn it around. The front is just a billboard. So turn it around. Start looking what's in it. Thinking, is this quality? I don't even know what these things are. If you don't know what is listed in there, then put it back. We all know what's not good for us. If it says corn syrup in there, if it says, I don't know, there's so many names for sugar anymore, but you know what is good for you. If you are listening to this, you're an educated woman. I want you to just focus on quality. Number 3, let's just handle one meal at a time. Let's just teach our body small steps that it can take, and it's going to be okay, and it's not going to stress your body out. So work with breakfast. Make a healthy breakfast. A healthy breakfast for most women over 40 is going to be a protein, a fiber, and a fat. If you can sneak some greens in there, a whole bunch of greens, I like to include broccoli or kale or Brussels sprouts or spinach, leeks. Find some greens to throw in there. It would be a really great thing to do. Culturally, we're used to things like donuts for breakfast, or oatmeal and toast and juice, or sugar cereal for breakfast, or even healthy cereals, we say, quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes right here, grape nuts or granola or whatever, but those are just carbohydrates, maybe with a little bit of protein, maybe with a little bit of fat, but sticking with the protein, fat, and fiber, one meal at a time. If you're setting yourself up with a good breakfast, it's going to help you get to lunch better, to make those better decisions. So you don't have to do it all at once. The next thing, number 4, is drink water. Drink water. Drink quality filtered water. I like to put lemon in mine, or maybe muddle a couple berries or something like that and put it on the bottom. Sometimes I just like straight water. But whatever kind of water you like, and I prefer it not to be the canned waters like the LaCroix or whatever. I just prefer you to get a nice filtered water. We use the Aquasana. The Britas aren't my favorite, but buy the best quality water. We're wanting to make sure that a lot of the toxins and the chlorine are removed, or the fluoride. We don't need fluoride in our water. I want our water to be as mineral rich as we possibly can. So drinking your water at least half your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 180 pounds, that would be 90 ounces of water. And then take in mind, you have to make up for those diuretics. So if you drink 2 8-ounce cups of coffee a day, then you're going to need to make those up, not just with 16 ounces, but you're going to do it a half. You're going to go half again. So 16 plus 8 is 24. If you have 2 8-ounce cups of coffee or tea or juice or soda or alcohol, you're going to need to drink 24 extra ounces of water. So it's just times 1.5. That's all you got to do, times 1.5 to make that up. So you're drinking water. And then lastly, step 5 is really need to work on your mindset. That means waking up every day and having that morning time and being prepared. And working on your mindset shows up in all kinds of different ways. It means that you actually considered your food, that you went grocery shopping, that you might have done some meal planning, but really work on your mindset and live intentionally. So let's summarize a little bit, and let's go over what those 5 steps are again. Number 1, the pantry clean out. Number 2, focus on quality. That means eating whole foods. Number 3, focus on one meal at a time. Number 4, drink enough water for your body weight and your diuretic consumption. And number 5, work on your mindset. I really should have put mindset as number 1, because without changing your mind and working on your mind and dealing with your feels and being intentional, then none of this is going to stick. So if you liked what you heard today and you would like more learning, I want to encourage you to join my newsletter. It only comes out once a week. I don't send a lot of stuff. And for those of you that maybe like to read a little bit, you'll enjoy it. It's just a little bit more in-depth content than we're talking about right now. And sometimes I give you some bonuses and extra tips and supplement recommendations and why and whatever. And it only comes once a week, but you can go sign up for that on thepathforhealth.com. Another thing you can do to get some extra support is join me over at Is This Hormones or Autoimmunity? That's my private Facebook group for women. If you're a woman over 40 and you've got hormone issues, or you don't know if it's perimenopause, or if you're like the many women that are being diagnosed with Hashimoto's or any other autoimmune disease that you can think of, then join us over on Facebook. It's Is This Hormones or Autoimmunity on Facebook. And that's just a free little Facebook group. But I'm glad that we got to get together today. I'm glad that you have decided to take some steps, and I'd love to know. I'd love to know what you're struggling with. Hit me up on Facebook or on Instagram. I am under Brandy on the Path for Health. And hit me up. Let me know what you're struggling with, and let me know, share with me, what are some small steps that you're taking? Are you drinking water? Did you do the pantry clean out? What are you doing? Are you maybe just starting with starting your day with intention? Are you starting with breakfast, or are you just a coffee drinker in the morning and you're really working on lunch? Or do you feel better about working, with dinner? But I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you're struggling with. When you share with me what you're struggling with, then it helps me get the content out to give you those little tips, those little lessons of little takeaways or action steps that you can actually put into action, because that's why you're listening, right? You actually don't want to just gather a bunch of knowledge. You want to put it to use. And that's kind of what we do in my membership. I'm pretty excited about the membership. The enrollment did close last Friday, and I have a lovely group of women. I think 20 women have joined me as founding members, and we're going to be working very closely together. And there's different stages, right? You learn how to do something, and you learn why you need to do it, and then you learn how to do it. But implementing it on an everyday basis, every week basis, every month basis, and keeping that up month after month and year after year, that's the hard part. And that's really why I developed the membership. And the membership is closed right now, but it will be reopening again in probably August or September. And it's just for a small fee every month, and you get live time with me and questions and answers, and you definitely get some guidance, some more detailed do this. And I call it my learn and do program, that I definitely want you to learn, but I want to give you enough space to do the work, and to do the work consistently and with good encouragement and support. So you can learn more about that if you go to the Path for Health. I talk about that a little bit, and you can read about it. And I do also have a way to be on an interest list. That way, when it opens back up again in August or September, it's only open for a week. I can only take so many people into it, because I really want to help women make progress. I just don't want you involved in something else. I actually want you to get results. And in order for me to help you get results, I need to be able to help you put everything into these action steps that we're talking about today. Taking small, consistent steps. It's a great way to have a little bit of accountability too. So, there's times where I'm throwing out, hey, I want to see your food journal. I want to know what you guys are having for breakfast. So it's nice women like to work together, and that's very encouraging. Well, I hope that you are safe out there. I don't know what's going on with COVID and when we're going to start getting back to life kind of, sort of, as we knew it before, but I wish you all the best. And I thank you for tuning in to the Path for Health. Don't forget, if there is someone that can benefit from this, please not only subscribe, because that way I know who's listening and how many I've got listening, and if this is a worthy thing for me to continue doing, but also share it, pay it forward, tell other people about it, your girlfriends that are struggling with getting started, then this is a great one to start with. All right. Have a great day. Hi, thank you again for listening. And as a thank you, I just want to give you a couple extra tools to help you on your path for health, just easy ways to get started and to really keep what you're learning top of mind. The first thing I'd like you to do is to head over to thepathforhealth.com. That's my website. You can join the newsletter. I don't bombard you with a whole bunch of emails. It just comes every Friday. I give little tips and tools and information, and definitely let you know with all the links when the new podcast is out. So that's the first thing. Join the newsletter. The second thing is, if you're really looking at having a little bit more support and hanging out with some like-minded women, then you're going to want to go to Facebook. So I have a private Facebook page or group, and it is called Is This Hormones or Autoimmunity? Join us there. I'm there every single day, encouraging words, inspirational words. We talk about food. We talk about all kinds of things that relate. And it's a great place to get to know other people and also to kind of gather some new ideas. If somebody has a new recipe or cookbook that we got, that's where we go and we share it in the Facebook group. Is this hormones or autoimmunity? So that's number 2. The third thing would be, if you're looking for more of an organized approach, how to put this together, really how to implement with a plan and some steps to actually take, then I would encourage you to sign up for the wait list for my next membership enrollment opportunity. I haven't set a hard date yet, but I believe that's going to be in August or September of 2020. And this is a monthly program that my students are in. A lot of students have taken courses, and they just want the continued, not only access to me, but also the continued support to keep things together and to stay on the plan, because there's certain stages that you move through. And that's what the membership is designed to do, is to help you move through the stages to get to that end result of completely restored or revitalized health. So make sure you get on the wait list. You can do that also by going to thepathforhealth.com. You can scroll down and you can click on a link that says, membership waitlist. That's easy. It's just a link. If you'd like a little bit more specific information on the membership, then actually just click the membership where you see the icon, like the menu icon. If you just click on where it says membership, it's going to take you to another page that lays everything out, and it'll still allow you to get on the wait list, which is super fun. So be on the lookout for my next courses that are coming up, my Restart course, my Restore course. And these are typically 5 to 6 week long courses where I lay out an incredibly structured plan of attack, and we work together. We do it online, and so you can ask me questions. It's pretty fun. So there's a lot of different opportunities to help you stay on the path. So just to go over those briefly is to head over to the website and join my newsletter. You can, of course, follow us and become a part of our community on our closed Facebook group. It's private. It's just ladies. Most of them are over 40 or very close to that. And that is This Hormones or Autoimmunity? And then also on the website, thepathforhealth.com, you can check out the membership. So the next enrollment date is coming up in the end of summer, beginning of fall, but you can go straight to the wait list by clicking the link for that, or you can get more information by just hitting in the menu membership. So I hope those things help you out. Of course, you can contact me by reaching me at brandy@thepathforhealth.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Brandy on the Path for Health, or on Instagram on Brandy on the Path for Health. All right. Have a great day. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.